Instead of trying to change the white man in your mind, make you accept us, we change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be education program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, we so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have the education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in an emotionalist movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more. And before you know it, they'll be capitalists. And before you know it, we have Negro imperialists.
Peace and Black Power families, Brother IJ Taimba from Harlem Liberation School. You know, we teach black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. In the words of Brother Malcolm X, who just had his 99th birthday a few days back. Today, family, I believe every broadcast we do is special because we're giving you very important information and information that you can utilize in your day-to-day life. Today is a special broadcast because not only is the information you're going to get relevant and usable, but it is also coming from a brother I've known for over 30 years, going back to our days at Syracuse University as undergrads. And this is a brother who I know he's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Of course, he's a graduate of Syracuse University, as I mentioned. He's a brother that was involved with leadership on campus. And since then, even as a young man, I believe probably like 27, he was doing the real estate thing, family, and he was doing it big. Brother comes from Brooklyn, and he's been doing real estate big. He's dealing with credit. He's teaching young people and old about financial literacy, getting their credit right in real estate. Very important information for us, family. I don't care what your political ideology is. We all talking about we need some money, right? We need money to do the things we need to do. So what he's saying is applicable to everybody, all right? And I want to introduce my good brother, Brother Carl Agard. Brother, how are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yes, sir. We had you on a few years ago, man, and you were definitely giving some very important information. And we're going to get to you've updated some of the books. I noticed you have some books that talk about coming back financially after COVID, which I think is very timely. And even though COVID is supposedly over, those books are still relevant because we're still post-COVID. And I understand there's variants, so we still want to know how we can recover, get our money right, and keep our money right, even when there's financial issues, when there's medical issues, and all types of stuff going on. So, brother, I want to start. First of all, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to get right into it. First, let me just put up a few comments, Brother Carl.
Yeah.
We got my queen over here saying Wukusu. That's our acronym for wake up, clean up, stand up, Brother Carl.
All right.
And she's welcoming you and everyone watching to Harlem Liberation School. And I'm letting people know, support the channel, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Some of you are watching on my Facebook page. Some of you are watching on Twitter. But if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, just click the subscribe button, family. Just help each other out here. Now, having gotten to some of that, I wanted to start with, hold on one second. I wanted to start with Brother Carl. Take us back. How did you even get involved in real estate and finance? I mean, it's so young too. Could you take us through that briefly?
Yeah. So once again, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I was on a couple of years ago. That's when I first had my books that came out, was Surviving COVID-19 with Your Credit. Did one on your books for real estate. But a lot happened since then. So now we're on Surviving Inflation. So it's good to have me back on so I could drop that knowledge on how we could survive this inflation we got going on. There's been a lot of things going on since 2020. So now we're in 2024. We had an election year. We had rising interest rates. We have inflation. We're in a recession. There's a lot of unemployment going on. A lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people losing their real estate, a lot of people are maxing out their credit. So what I'm going to do for the next 45 to an hour, as long as you have me here, is go through all of those things, answer a lot of your questions, a lot of concerns you got going on in the world. I'm going to give you the real deal. This is not that CNN stuff. This is a real deal. This is something that I deal with every day on a daily basis. I've been doing it for the last 25 years, being involved in finance, real estate, credit, stuff like that. I'm not new to this. A lot of your people that you see on YouTube, TikTok, and all that, they just wake up, start talking smack. I'm giving you the real deal. Been a real estate broker, one of the youngest Black independent real estate broker in Brooklyn at the time in 1997. Had my own firm. Ever since then, I started my own bank. Then after that, started my own lending institution for small businesses. Right now, I have the nonprofit where we do financial literacy, we do credit restoration, credit repair. We save your house from foreclosure. So this is not my first go around. We're going around for a long time. So I'm gonna give you guys tonight the real deal of what's really going on out there, the skinny on all of it. So how I got involved in finance, I always joke and say, you don't grow up as a baby and say, hey, I want to be a real estate broker. You grow up as a baby and say, I want to be a firefighter, a doctor, a policeman. So what happened is after I graduated Syracuse, like I said, myself and Aji, we was out there doing our thing in Syracuse. He was head of the Black Student Association. I was the head of all the Black Greeks. We brought them together as one big coalition to get what we wanted to get from the school. Then after we all left school, we started doing our thing in terms of making our way in the world. So I got involved in real estate, was one of my frat brothers and roommates. He went into law school at St. John's University, came back and said, hey, there's a lot of things going on in real estate we need to look into. So got lucky, long story short, in 97, ran across a guy that was retiring and moving back to Israel, gave us about 7 houses for no money down. We just split it up amongst ourselves and bought these houses for no money down. So one of my first houses was in Clinton Hills in downtown Brooklyn for $110,000, a 2-family house. Then I got a 4-family house with 5 units in Crown Heights for $175,000. So, you do the numbers back then. I quickly amass a fortune in real estate quickly, and I wasn't even 30 years old yet. So in the space of a year, I got laid off my job in corporate America. I was working for a health insurance company making 6 figures. They laid me off in 1998, gave me a big severance. I had these houses, so I took the equity out. Now I'm playing with $200,000-$300,000. I started flipping houses. So I was buying and selling some, flipping some. I owned about 7 brownstones in Brooklyn. Even before the year 2000, then I leveraged that money to move down to Atlanta, open up a real estate office in Atlanta, start building houses, flipping houses in Atlanta. So I was doing it back and forth, for 2001 up until the real estate market crash of 2008, going back and forth between New York and Atlanta, either renovating brownstones or flipping houses, owned a lot of my own properties. In the midst of it, banks came to me, gave me my own line of credit to flip houses, taught me to become a banker. And then I started doing mortgages for people. So I'm just going to get into that part because there's a lot of stages to it. And I don't want to jump around. And I know that Aji will say, hey, well, after this point, what happened at that? Because there's all levels to it. So I'm going to give you that first stage, which was 1997 to 2008. That was the heydays of real estate, both in New York and also in the South. And I was on the ground level of that.
Sounds good, my brother Carl. See, as you know, family, we try to do hour-long broadcasts. We're going to have our brother back on if he has the time for us, because it's just so much information to this that we're not going to cover everything in this hour. But we hope to give you some things you can use immediately. And we like to thank you all here. My girl, my lady, my wife, my queen, Brenda Hilaire's in the building. I see Sister Queen Myla. Renee Imhotep is in the building. I want to shout them out. And everyone else joining us. I want to follow up, Brother Carl, with this question. I hear people talk about financial literacy all the time. We need financial literacy. We're not financial literate. Financial literacy is important as regular reading and writing. Could you tell us how you define financial literacy?
Well, financial literacy is a lot of parts to it. The one key thing is understanding your credit is one, where you need to learn how to understand the credit bureaus, how they operate, reading your credit score, knowing your credit score, what you need in your credit score so you could get a house, a home, start a business. And, a lot of us don't even know that. They don't teach us financial literacy in school, whether it's calling, whether also in college, where they really need to teach us that in college is, financial literacy in terms of that. And that's where you go wrong, because what we try to do at my nonprofit is try to get the kids later in high school and in college to learn about those stuff. Your credit score, budgeting, starting a business, understanding money, how money operates and stuff like that, because they don't teach you to at all. But it's designed that way because the rich get richer on your lack of knowledge. So that's what financial literacy is your knowledge of your power of your credit score, understanding your credit, your budgeting, understanding what to make, how to make more money, how to grow your funds. A lot of us are retiring, don't even have no money to retire. And then, they blame you out of it. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Why don't you know that? You don't teach us these things. And unfortunately, a lot of people go in the wrong places to get taught. They go to the wrong YouTube channels, TikTok channels, and they get beat for money. You got to go to the right places to understand these things about financial literacy. And unfortunately, the loudest people in the room, the people with the most likes and follows, the people driving the flashiest cars and everything like that, they're the ones that's out there teaching people, but they teach you the wrong way. I try to teach people the right way, which is the basis is looking at your credit score. Even if you go on Credit Karma and understanding on Credit Karma how to read to see, okay, am I maxed out on my credit cards? Why is my score 580? What do I need to do to get to the 700 credit score, the 800 credit score? What do I need to do to grow my budget? How do I start a business? What is an LLC? What is a tax ID number? How can I get financing to start my business? Those are the things that we need to do for financial literacy. And that's what it is about, understanding those things.
Excellent. And Carl, before we go even further, I want to pull this up, because what you have done is what all of our experts, any black person that has acquired expertise in something should write about it, should put it in a movie, music, or book form so that people can learn wherever they are in the world. And what you've done is you've written some books. I want to put up some of these, and maybe you could take us through some of them, Brother Carl, because you've written on real estate and credit and all this stuff. Could you take us through those books?
Yeah. So the first one I written was Getting the Real Out of Real Estate. So I wrote that in about 2005, because when I was doing seminars, people was like, man, that's a great story of how you got involved with real estate, how you came from the projects of Brooklyn. You got involved in real estate at a young age, became a real estate broker at a young age, owned all these houses. How can other people get involved in it? And I talked about my story, my ups and downs, because at the time in 2005, people only was telling you about the good things about real estate. And they was marketing people, honestly. They was just know about the marketing of real estate, how to market stuff. I was giving you the real deal coming from a real estate broker point of view, an investor point of view, a rehabber point of view, a mortgage person point of view, and from a black point of view, which wasn't there at that time of 05. The only people writing those books was white people. So I was doing it at that time, and I was really a pioneer in that world because you didn't have YouTube out at that time, Amazon, Google. You had to get the information directly from the source. So if you wanted to know, well, how do I get involved in real estate? How do I invest from a black point of view? You had to come through me at that time. So that's what that first book was, getting the real out of real estate, because I give you the real deal on buying your first home, investing in your first home, how to fill out a mortgage application, what to expect, how to refinance, how to pull out equity, buy more homes and everything like that. And now in retrospect, people now find it on Amazon and they're like, wow, it's like finding an old record and dusting it off. Like, man, it had some good beats because it was ahead of the time, and it was like 250 pages of chock full of information that was out there. Then fast forward during the pandemic, because everybody was home, I had a group on Facebook called the 800 Credit Score Club. So I grew that to over 10,000 members where I was giving tips. So then I said, well, let me regurgitate my books and adapt it to the times because, I'm seeing all these YouTubers, TikTokers, everybody out there in the space, but they didn't have half the knowledge that I have. You know what I mean? But they had the followers, they talking a lot of smacks, and they'll go behind the scenes and ask me like, hey, brother, hey, can you help me with this? So I'm like, nah, you know what? That's all good, but let me give him my perspective of the update of what's going on. Fast forward in 2020, 2022, and going forward. So I came out with Financially Surviving COVID-19, the real estate edition, and Financially Surviving COVID, the credit edition. And those books, once again, are parts of my previous books adapted to the sign of the times of how to navigate what's going on. So now I got to update those of Financially Surviving Inflation and Recession, because that's where we are now. Because now we got those going on, and you got the new algorithms of credit bureaus. You have the lending of now. You got the higher interest rates. So you got to learn how to navigate, because honestly, you got to navigate finance every 5 years now because it's always going to be a change.
Thank you for that, brother Carl. So those of you who you need it broken down more, go right to Amazon.com, type in Carl Agard as you see his name on the screen, and you should come up to those books. Carl, I don't know if there's an alternative way you'd like people to buy the books. Is there another way you'd like them to buy it, another place?
Yeah, they can also go online directly on my nonprofit website. The Agard Financial Foundation.org is there scrolling at the bottom, and you could go right there and buy the books. And also, what we're doing too for people listening to, whether you're live on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you could get a free download of the ebook. Just go on, the Agard Financial Foundation.org, and you can request a free ebook, or you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Carl Agard _ the money expert, and DM me, say, hey, I heard you on the podcast, and I'll send you a free ebook. But hey, go ahead and buy the book, even donate to the nonprofit. What we do with it, we try to help, young adults get financial literate. We try to help homeowners save their houses. We try to do some big things with my nonprofit also.
Excellent, 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 brother Carl. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. Give us some things, brother Carl. I know in the world of finance, there's a million things, but what are some basic things that people watching this can do or begin doing tomorrow that will help them grow their money, keep their money, or make their financial situation better?
All right, great question. So everyone out there listening, you need to get a pen and paper or write this down, because it's a lot of information to take. One, get on Credit Karma. It's free. Download the app. Credit Karma will give you your TransUnion, your Equifax scores. They vary, it's going to vary between if you're going for a mortgage or a car. Scores going to fluctuate. But the key thing about creditkarma.com is that it's easy to read your score. You will see your credit utilization. You will see your credit cards, your payment history, your car payment, your loan history. It'll let you know if you got enough credit, too much credit, you need more. So I always tell people right now, go on Credit Karma, you get your TransUnion, your Equifax. Then you also could go on Experian.com to get your Experian score. So now you have all three of the major credit reporting bureaus. That's first and foremost. Because right now, people want to look at cars, they want to look at houses, they want to start a business, they want to get a business loan, but they got bad credit. And I would say, look in your Credit Karma first. That's first step. Because as a banker, I want to see that first before I could tell you what you need to go. All right. Next step is you always want to look at your bank account, make sure that your account not getting hacked. You want to check your bank account daily because you're gonna get your bank account probably hacked. Sometimes you want to make sure it's not getting hacked when you use your debit card. You also want to look at your credit score also because you also want to make sure that nobody's utilizing your credit. All right, so that's important. Now, if you want to start your own business, the basic thing to do is you want to start an LLC. Some states you could get it for free, or you could start $100. No, you got to incorporate. It's $100, right? And then your tax ID number is for free, so that you can also build your own business as a consultant, flip houses, whatever you want to do. Is start your own business bank account.
Brother Carl, let me interrupt you. Sorry, real quick. For those who don't know, kind of like myself, what's considered the type of credit score at minimum where a banker look at you like you a piece of steak for a hungry man?
Yeah. So for first-time home buyers, because I do mortgages, we want a minimum 580 to 620 credit score to be eligible for FHA or VA loan as a first-time home buyer. But the higher you are, the better, because you get a better interest rate. Right now, rates are about 6.8. The higher your credit score, the better rate you get. The lower, the higher the score is because of the risk. Now, if you're above 700 or above, like you said, we look at you like a good steak. They're like, oh man, I want to get this guy closed because he got a good credit score. So we want you to be at minimum 586 20 credit score. To get a business loan, we want you to be 660 to 680 score to get a business loan. And especially if you are 1 year in business and you're showing income, you can get a business loan. If you're brand new, we like to say, hey, go to a credit union, get a relationship with a credit union, and then go back and try to get a personal loan or a small business loan. Because right now, a lot of banks are not giving a lot of money to startups. It's too much of a risk. So we want you to be in business at least a year, making money and having a score of 660, 680. Now, if you do got a business and you're making a lot of money, like 20,000, 30,000 on up, we can go to 550 credit score, but it's only if your business is making really good money, and I can evaluate it. So anything like people listening to the show, anything like that, send me a DM, say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I can evaluate what you're trying to do, and I could tell you what direction you need to go in. But those are just the starter points because there's a lot to digest. But I always tell people the starting point is look at your credit score and Credit Karma, and then also look at your financial history, and that's going to determine what direction to go in.
Okay, Carl, I have a few questions. Should I throw a few questions in now, or do you want to keep rolling?
Now let's go to questions because I want to not go in and talk. There's so lot to go over. I like the questions because I could direct it to that in terms of what people want.
All right. This very beautiful lady, if I say so myself, is asking this. She says her family wants to start a scholarship fund for the youth. What are your suggestions for doing that? Are there certain things they can do, certain types of accounts they can create, or?
Well, a scholarship would be a good endowment like I did with the Agard Financial Foundation because I was doing so many things in the community and I was doing it under other nonprofits, but they was taking, of course, all of the advantages of it and also stealing my ideas. So I started my own just for that same reason so that I could leave a legacy for other people. So I would say start your own nonprofit, start your own endowment. And it could be anything as little as $1,000 endowment because any kid would love that for going towards school and start it that way. So, you could start something that way in terms of, a scholarship fund, but do it through, if you can, a nonprofit, starting your own.
Now, I remember way back in the day, around the time my father unfortunately died, he left me a little bit of change. And my mother and I went to a bank and we opened up some I don't even remember what it was called, but it basically was a fund that only could be used for college. And the thing was that it wouldn't every year you're putting in, it's a tax shelter, and I don't think they tax it until you start using it. So you can, it's a way of kind of sheltering that money from taxes. Do you remember? Do you know what that's called? Because I sure don't remember it.
Yeah, it's probably like a trust. Yeah, basically
Okay.
it's a trust that you put money in. So like if you get like a large sum from either getting hit by a bus or insurance or stuff like that, grandma, mama leave you some money, you put into a trust. And then at that point, it's available to you when you turn 18 years old. And then you're able to do what you want to do with it. And then some of them could also grow interest as it goes along. Now, I'm not as proficient in that, but there's some great financial advisors I'm refer to come on the show that could talk more about that. And also talk about insurance programs where you could put money into insurance and build that you could borrow off it down the road to do businesses, invest in real estate, and have a tax shelter. So there's some great financial people that I've been on their podcast. I'm gonna refer to you that you guys could bring on. They could talk more about that in detail.
Excellent. And she actually follows up with something you touched on briefly, Brother Carl. She wants to know, what are your thoughts about using life insurance as a personal bank? I remember there was a point we was in here, I was looking at it, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I didn't know you could do that. Most black people getting life insurance to bury their relative, and that's where we leave it. We never kind of knew that there's a way you could use it as a financial instrument. Do you know anything? What do you think about that? I know you said you get some more people to talk about it, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I just did a show last month with a financial advisor, and that's what he specializes in. His name is Jeff the Wealth Builder on Instagram. You guys can follow him. Very proficient in it, and basically, it's like a whole life policy where, for example, you sell some real estate, you sell a business, you take that lump sum of money, put it into the life insurance policy, and it grows over time. Or you could just put money into it every month, and then after it matures, you're able to borrow off of it tax free to do different business ventures, invest in real estate and everything like that. But the whole thing is that it's not taxed. So these are the vehicles that the other people use that we don't know about, whether it's a revocable trust, these insurance policies that they sell businesses, they sell real estate, they sell land, and put that money into these vehicles so that it's not taxed, so that they could take that money down the road and invest in other investments and stuff like that.
I actually have a quick question, Brother Carl. And this is for people who are not financially savvy. They may have a very old fashioned way of looking at or dealing with money. They don't trust banks. They've read it, they've heard in the past that banks have closed and people lost their money. So some of our in our community take their hard-earned money, find a nice spot under their mattress, and put it right there, or a sneaker box or a shoe box or closet. Is that a good idea, and why or why not?
Well, they're making it harder to do it now because everything's digital. Because look, I have the same $20 in my pocket for the last 3 months. Everything's digital between Cash App, Apple Pay, Zelle. Everywhere you go, using your debit card and stuff like that. So what people got to do now, well, your money's going to be insured by the FDIC up to $250,000. So your money's going to be good if you got $1 million spread out among 4 banks, and it's going to be insured. Other thing is that they're just making it a digital world. You're going to have to adapt with the times where you just got to have it digital, because there's a lot of people that can't get loans and mortgages for that same reason, because they're doing everything cash. For example, the barbershops that we know in Harlem and Brooklyn, they come to me for business loans. They're a cash business. They can't get a loan because they do everything cash. They don't deposit into the bank account. Everything got to be trackable now. It is what it is. Even when you start your own business.
Carl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carl. Just to make sure no one watching this misses this. Is it a good idea if we're working, we got our little money, to be saving our money under our mattress?
No, I said no. It's not. It's trackable. If you want to get a loan and stuff, they're gonna want to see where the money's coming from. And you want to grow interest on that money anyway.
That's right.
Yeah,
and isn't it true? You said the FDIC insures our money up to $250,000, right?
Correct. Yep, correct.
So if you put it in the mattress and your house catch on fire, it's gone.
It's gone. Or someone rob you.
That's right.
Yeah, someone run in and rob you. You might tell your friend, I got some money on my mattress, Then he gonna tell somebody else. Next you know, they crawl through your fire escape and rob you. And you lost that money. or your house burned down, you get evicted, you go away, anything can happen. But you have it in the bank, it's insured, it's going to be fine. Plus, if you want to get a loan, get a mortgage, everything like that, they want to see where your money's coming from. It just is what it is at this point.
Thank you for that. Now, Boss Lady Monk says old school people are not going to change, and you know she's probably right about that. But we hope that with information, people will see a better way to handle their money. We really don't. We should have some. It's okay to have some liquid money in the house, right? It's okay to have like a few hundred here, a few hundred there. But when you get into hundreds of thousands of dollars,
yeah, you gotta have it in the bank and have it grow.
You gotta put that away.
Certain
Yeah,
accounts where it's gonna grow you some money, stuff like that. Like I said, an interest-bearing account or CD account, stuff like that. And like I said, I'm more proficient on loans and mortgages, but there's some great financial plans that could come on the show and could give you some good tips on what to put your money in that point. And like I said, one thing that I put a meme always put adapt or die. You got to adapt to the times. You might not like it, but you got to adapt. A lot of people I know for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm not doing this because of that and the third. They're struggling because they don't want to adapt. And you got to. Right now, it's a digital world that we're dealing with. Crypto, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, Apple Pay. I mean, who's using Cash nowadays? And you got to learn how to create a business. You got to have to learn what the system is giving you and learn how to create money off that system. It is what it is at this point. You know, people could bitch and moan all you want about how things are not fair, but I'm seeing people get more and more left behind. Yeah, people with real estate now, they're changing with the times. Right now, they're going to get rid of 6% commission for real estate. I told real estate agents for a long time, learn how to do mortgages, learn how to do title work, learn how to be amenable to the times. Because one day they're going to wake up and say, well, why were you paying you 6% for selling a brownstone? And that's what they're doing now, adapt or die. I'm going to make sure I get mine. I'm doing mortgages. I'm doing title work. I'm helping lawyers with title work. I'm stopping foreclosures. I'm doing credit. Whenever anything changes, as soon as the interest rate went up, and real estate slowed down, mortgage slowed down, I'm doing credit repair. I'm making money every day doing credit repair for people through my nonprofit. I'm doing articles. I'm doing different things. You got to adapt or die. I haven't had a job for 25 years. God bless. I have not had a job. When I told you guys, I got laid off my job in 1998. I took my severance. I took the equity out of my houses and started my business. And all I've been doing is my own business for all that time. And God bless me that I've been doing my own businesses for about 25 years. I haven't had a job since then. My job is my business, but I had to adapt to the times. You might not like what's going on between politics, banking, corporate America, but you got to adapt to the times. And that's all I'm saying to people. You got to adapt to the times. And this is the times that we're in right now.
Thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that reminder. Be adaptable, family. We know the story of the dinosaurs, don't we? What happened to them? All right, Brenda, baby girl's asking, what tips would you offer families that are trying to build generational wealth? Where should they start at least? She has a group she started with her cousins, right, on Facebook. And so they're talking about how can we get some money up, build generational wealth. And we know there's a lot to it, but where would you say is a place they can start at least?
Well, like two best things, I'm going to say for me, what worked out is real estate, of course. So with all of the properties that I bought, flipped, everything like that, one good vehicle that me and my ex-wife did was we had a co-op that we bought in downtown Brooklyn with her dad. He was an ex-Harlem Globetrotter, God bless Jumpin' Jackie Jackson. We bought a co-op for about $25,000 and it grew to be $500,000. So we sold it a couple of years ago, and that's my kids' college funds. You see my kids, I post them up all the time on Instagram, on Facebook. They go into Howard University. So that was their college money, but they also went on scholarships. So now they have money to even buy real estate, start a business afterwards. But I'm saying for me, that's what worked out. It was real estate. And then also the second thing was starting businesses, that I could start a business, make my own money, but also sell that business, whether I sell the business or sell the idea or the opportunity to somebody. And that's what other people are doing. I see the Jews, Asians, Indians. I see them where I live at Alpharetta in Atlanta. The Indians are doing it. And it's sad, but I tell people I'm watching it from ground level, that these people said, this is what we're doing. They stick to the script. It's not overnight. See, our problem is we want things that happen overnight and we don't stick together. You know what I mean? Soon as people make a couple of dollars, they start breaking off and doing their things. I'm seeing these people get together and have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 25-year plan, and now their families are benefiting from that generation that they built with real estate, land, starting a business, leaving a legacy to their families. And that's something that we haven't been doing. I've been in this game since I was 28 years old. I'm 55. I've been seeing stuff. I've been seeing it from our point of view and other people's point of view. I've been brought in working with other people. I've been in rooms that a lot of people have not been in these rooms. A lot of people that's on social media saying this and the third, I don't see them in that room. I've been in them rooms. And I'm telling people, this the game, this how it is. But they like, oh, no, no, no. Okay. And then 10, 15, 20 years later, oh, yeah, you was right. You was right. Yeah. Try to give y'all that tea. But y'all want to hear the loudest people in the room. Now look what happened. Y'all got none of y'all leaving y'all kids. My kids are good, but you know what? I was in the room. They might not want to tell me anything, but I listened. I told someone at another podcast how I became a banker. I took it. They didn't want to make me be a banker, but you know what? They want to get in Bed-Stuy. They had to go through me because I was plugged in with the local churches, nonprofits, and the politicians. I said, yo, you want to get in here? You're going to get in soon one way or another. You got to go through me, and I'm going to plug you to the people. Teach me banking. And he set me on my own bank. That's how I'm doing banking to this day. I started consulting Koreans. I started consulting Chinese people. I started consulting Egyptians with their businesses. And I seen firsthand what they did to start their generational wealth. It was buying real estate and starting their own businesses, you know? And that's my tip I always tell people. Those two things are simple. You start those stuff, you grow it and grow it, and you got to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan. You can't just start this stuff and be like, oh, 6 months later, it ain't working the way it is and stop. That's one thing that I've been seeing that with us, we start too quick. We stop. You gotta stick to the script. Gotta have a plan.
So one of the tips, it sounds like, is to create a business plan.
Yes, gotta have a business plan, and you gotta have a 5-year, 10-year plan at least minimum. You know, because you're gonna start a business, it's gonna take time. All my businesses that I started, you know, they take time to grow. You got to put money into it. You got to put time into it. What happened in this age of social media? People just see microwave results. Oh, I seen someone start a trucking business. He doing good, and then they started and it don't work out and they quit. You don't know what that person did behind the scenes. They only tell you the good things. Like when I started doing real estate, people only saw the good stuff. They saw me driving cars and going here and there. They didn't know what I went through dealing with tenants, dealing with contractors, stuff like that, deals that went bad, stuff like that I overcame, but I stuck to it. And I always tell people, you got to stick to it. You got to have that consistency, whether you're doing a trucking business, a restaurant, a hair salon. You gotta have the consistency of this is what I'm doing, this is my demographic, and this is my goal, and I'm gonna get up 7 a.m. in the morning, work till 7 at night or whatever, and do it every day for 30 days, 60 days, 9 days. And you're gonna see a plan. You're gonna see growth. It's just too many times when people say, well, what happened when you see people fail, whether they're a real estate agent that come in and want to be a real estate agent, whether they want to start their own business, that they never stick to it. And what happened is they never had the passion. A lot of times when you talk to people, they didn't have the passion really. They just saw somebody do it, they made money, and they want to get in, and then it didn't work out. I had passion when I got involved in real estate. Every business that I did, I had a passion with it. And I knew that it was fun. I wanted to make my own money. I want to leave a legacy, whether it's legacy for my kids or legacy for my community. So it was an overall goal. With that is like, not only I'm going to make the money, I'm going to have a goal. I'm going to leave this. See, a lot of people, they say, I want to be rich. And when you're not going to get rich, you're not going to succeed, basically, because you're like, well, this ain't working out the way it is. But when you have a goal of, this is something I love doing, whether I make money or no money, what I'm doing, yo, this is what I love doing. I've been doing it for 25 years. I love houses. I love the art of the deal. I run hard after $10 as I hard run after $100,000. I made $100,000 and try to sell my books for $10 the next day. Like I ain't make $100,000 because that's my passion. So you gotta have a passion. That's another thing I tell people. You gotta be patient and have a passion and have a plan. Them three P's.
Hmm. That's real talk right there. I'm trying to see if we have any other. Oh, there's my sister. Remember Tanya
Tanya,
Hazehurst
what's going on? Yeah.
Dawkins? What's
Next
up,
time I come through
sis?
Charlotte, we gotta get up.
Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Family watching, whether you're on my Facebook page, you're on our Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel, or Twitter. Please, if you have questions, anything that you wonder about when you talk with your family, and I don't know, this is a perfect time to throw that question in the mix, because we have a brother here who took out time to build his craft. Brother Carl, could you talk about that? I know that we're middle aged, so our tendency, like our parents when we were younger, is our generation got it all figured out. The younger generation don't. But I do notice that younger people struggle with this idea of craft. If I'm going to build a craft, I'm going to build expertise, right? Could you talk about the importance of the craft part of it, your experience, the things you had to do to learn the stuff you know now?
Yeah, and it's kind of like what I just said before, is that plan, that passion, and everything like that. And like I said, with the younger generation, it's that microwavable success that they see that they don't put into it. That I see they struggle more. Like they even struggle in it with depression and everything like that because of that. Because when I started in real estate, it really took me 3 years that before I made my first dollar. It's just that I was still working in corporate America. But I mean, I remember trying to flip houses in Bridgeport, Connecticut, deals falling apart. I remember going to the closing, the deals fall apart, real estate agents beating us for money, deposits, you name it. I mean, but we never gave up. I mean, it started like in 1994, listening to Raekwon, Built for Cuban Links. You know, that's how I know the time, driving around in the car looking at houses. And then we really get our first deal to 1997 where we ran across the guy that was retiring, moving to Israel. He walked us through the deal, and that was the spark. But it took 3 years to really make that money. And then it took off from there. And I tell people it wasn't an overnight success. It took time, but I stayed at my job, made sure my credit was good. I saved money and then, built my contacts. Then once I started as a real estate agent and my lawyers was my brokers, I was consistent with it. I made sure I was making the money while I was learning the craft. So I told my lawyers, I said, look, when y'all sponsor me to be a real estate agent, I'm gonna make you guys money while I learn. And that's something I don't see right now. I see people feel entitled, like, hey, I want to get in real estate. And I'm like, in the game a long time, but they just want to get in the game. And they feel like they're entitled to learn. And I tell people, you gotta earn while you learn, basically. If you got people taking the time out to show you the craft, be respectful and learn from them, help them make money also. And when they tell you something, go with that nugget, learn from that nugget, and expand. You just can't expect people to take every little bit, and you can't quit. You got to keep coming back. It's going to be hard. The one thing when I talk to the people that put me on in the late 90s, whether it was a banker, another mortgage person, a real estate person, a lawyer, they said, man, you was a one tough cookie. You always came back. No matter how hard it was, the obstacles, you always came back. And you always learned from a mistake. And we never had to tell you something twice. And that's why I impart to people now is that you got to learn. And you got to, once again, have a passion, a plan, and be patient.
I like that. That's your 3 P's.
The 3 P's is always going to go back to that.
Now, tell us about the organization that you started, Brother Carl, your Financial Foundation. What type of services do you offer? If people watching this like what you're saying and they want to know more, I also have your books up for people who want to see that. I believe, Brother Carl, you said you're going to give people a few ebook copies for free. Is that correct?
Yep, free ebooks. They just got DM me. So follow me on Instagram, Carl Agard _, the money expert. Follow me. Once you follow me, send me a DM. Tell me that you found me on the show, and then I'll just put in I'll ask for your email address, and I'll send you a free ebook. I'll send you the credit ebook because credit is very important right now. And once again, with my nonprofit, we do credit repair, credit restoration. Right now, I'm dealing with different mortgage companies, different car dealerships, where they send me people where I review their credit. So what we do a free credit evaluation. We look through your credit karma. We look at your experience. I look to see your credit utilization, see if you're maxed on your credit cards. Do you have enough credit? Do you have too much? You need more? What we got to do to build your credit? I look to see if you got collections, charge-offs, too many inquiries. And then what we do is if you need to go forward, then you do a donation. We'll talk about it where we go forward and have a plan where we go ahead and fix your credit, boost your credit score, and get you going. Whether you want to buy a house, a car, start a business. So that's my nonprofit, the Agard Financial Foundation. The link to it is at the bottom, www.theagardfinancialfoundation.org. And then also I have an online magazine called Boss Excel the Mag, Boss Excel Magazine. It's bossexcelthemag.com. And basically it's an online magazine. Well, this is a print edition that's out right now. And online, we do talk about credit. We talk about financial literacy, real estate tips. I have a lot of experts come on. Right now, we just posted a commercial real estate expert who was a minority developer that built stadiums in Denver. And he gave tips, inside tips on commercial real estate. So we're giving like a lot of experts in different fields come on my magazine and talk about tips. We have entertainers in there talking about what they got going on. We have a lot of millionaire people that talk about their businesses and how they started their business and stuff like that, what they had to overcome, tips for you to start your business. So that's on my magazine, bossexcelthemag.com. We cover the Essence Festival. We go to film festivals. We do red carpet events, everything like that. So that's a fun side, because, we're talking about money, everything like that. But I also want to make it fun, where I want to mix in entertainment and sports with that also.
Man, we appreciate, as Tanya is saying, the great info. And I want to shout Tanya out for being part of SAS back in the day, comptroller, doing great work with Sister Aisha Wilson when she rests in peace and power. And I just want to shout you out, Sister Tanya. How is Charlotte, North Carolina? I hear it's very good for our people in Charlotte. Let me know if you agree with that, my sister.
And shout out to Tanya. We was gonna link up before the pandemic at the CIAA. This time I'll probably come up there during the summer. I'll hit you in advance so we could link up, because they was performing and everything, and with so much traffic I couldn't even make it up there. But Charlotte is another good market for people that's relocating from New York, New Jersey. They've been coming down to Atlanta. They're going to Charlotte. They're going to Florida. But Charlotte, don't sleep on it. They got good jobs, better jobs to me than Atlanta market, and the prices are good for new homes and stuff like that too. You got the University of Charlotte area. You got the other side, the west side of Charlotte, which is really good. I did a lot of stuff out that way. So a lot of good areas in Charlotte to make money out there. Huntersville, don't sleep on Huntersville. It's a suburb of Charlotte. It's growing. There are a lot of business out there.
I'm gonna be looking it up, my brother, for sure. And we got Tanya says she loves Charlotte. She says she's gonna hook up with you. Let's make it happen. And she lives in South Charlotte, she says. And we also got my good brother Karim is in the building. Shout out to my warrior brother right there. Brother Carl, I'm interested to know. I get my credit to about 800. What are the benefits of that credit? What do I get when I get my credit to that level? As opposed to if my credit is 500.
Oh man, well, 800 they open doors. 500 they close the doors. Basically.
Okay.
So at an 800 credit score, you're gonna get the best rates, the best deals when you're looking for a house. If you have a business, you're gonna get like a higher loan and stuff like that. So we see anyone, even in the 700s, someone come in because it's just so rare, especially right now with the way the recession and inflation is hitting people, and people are maxing out their credit cards, and the algorithms of the credit bureaus is really dinging people if you max out your credit cards. So if you max out your credit cards, I've seen people's scores drop from 680 down to the 500s just for using their credit cards. So yeah, when you have an 800 credit score, everything opens up at that point. You're getting the best loans and mortgages at that point.
Okay. Oh, Tanya's asked, this is a good question. How many credit cards should a person have? I guess at one time.
It's a good question because right now with the algorithms, and I study the algorithms for the bureaus when I do credit repair and restoration, they want you to have a mix. They want you to have a minimum of about 2 credit cards reporting, but no more than about 8. Because if you go about 8, they'll feel you have too much credit and you can max out file for bankruptcy. So they want you to have a good mix is to have between 2 to 8 credit cards and don't max them out. You want to have your utilization below 30%. So example, if you have $1,000 credit limit with Capital One, don't use more than $300 credit. Keep it $300 and below on all your credit cards. And that's going to keep your score up. The algorithm's going to pick it up and keep giving you a high credit score, get you to 700, 800. As long as you have that, you want to have like Capital One, you want to have a Discover, you want to have Amex. Then you want to mix it with some store cards like Macy's, Nordstrom's, and stuff like that. And then you want to keep them $1,000 credit limit. Only use no more than $300 of it, and that's going to really keep your scores up, and the bank's going to view it as a really good limit. Then you want to have installment. So revolving is your credit because it's revolving. As you pay it down, you use it. As you pay it down, you use it. Installment loan is a loan like say one financial or Navy Federal give you a loan for like $10,000 and you pay that every month for 5 years. That's an installment loan. So they also want you to have like maybe a couple installment loans to add to that mix. And then also maybe a car loan. That's an installment loan, a 3-year loan, 5-year loan that you're paying that down also. And then if you got a mortgage, it's great. But most people have a car loan, 5 credit cards, and maybe an installment loan. In my ebook here, I do break that down. What's a good mix of a credit score of a good credit, and I tell you how you're gonna have your mix in it. So that's a good ebook. I have it right here.
Just to follow up on what you just said, if people want to get that ebook, they go to Carl Agard _ the money expert on Instagram and let you know I saw the show with you and IJ. I want to get the free book, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Rather than them do that, then go to the website. If you go to the website, you have to buy the book. Hey, if you buy the book, that's great. It's a donation. But if you want the free ebook, just follow me on Instagram and just DM me also, and I'll just get your email address and DM you with the ebook.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you got the information scrolling on the bottom, family. We're coming up to 5 minutes before we close the show. We're gonna try to have our brother Carl, who's been generous with his time and energy, come back. This is actually his second time with us. Hopefully he'll come back. We actually need to get like a 3-part joint with brother Carl at some point. We gotta get a 3-part joint.
A lot of info to go in deep because we gotta have one just on credit where we're asking information, one on real estate and mortgages where people asking information, and one on business loans where people asking information. I mean, each of them is his own show, and each of them we could take an hour on it because there's a lot going on. And I'm giving relevant information because I actually do this stuff. I'm not a marketing person. I'm not someone that's just on YouTube talking in the car and stuff like that. I actually do this stuff all day. So, like I said, I actually closed a $20,000 business loan for somebody that had a bill of her credit. I actually, right now, we're talking about working on 15 people credit scores. Someone just DM me just now as I'm on the show, say, hey, I just closed on my house in Texas. Thank you for raising my score. Literally, that's going on as we speak. I got a mortgage that I just took in for $1.5 million that I'm doing in Long Island. So I'm actually doing deals. So that's what separates me from all those people that you think are popular on YouTube and TikTok and everything like that. They do one deal and talk about that for years. I'm doing deals.
What have you done for me lately?
And I call them out. I can call them out. When I'm in the room with them, they know this is big bro. They give me my roses. Big rose here. Yeah, you may got 1 million followers on YouTube and you with the planes and you with the Bentleys and you sit in the car. But hey, I'm doing deals. I've been doing those nonstop for 25 years. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them guys, after a year or two, you ain't gonna find them no more because they done took your money and ran the hell off. And they're gonna change their name. You ain't find them. Me, you can find me on the red carpet. I've been doing it 25 years. Ain't nobody. I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. My face card is good everywhere. My face card is good in Florida, up and down the East Coast, Charlotte, DC, New York, Syracuse. I can go anywhere in the country. I'm good because I've been consistent 25 years. I can stand on that right there.
That's what's up. That's what's up, brother.
Hey, one thing.
Consistency
Hey,
for
now
those
that I'm
watching.
talking, man, wait, one more thing. There's people that bought houses from me, kicking and screaming in 1999, 2000, 2001. They bought brownstones for $200,000. They brownstone worth $1.5 million. They sell it. They sending their kids to colleges. They got businesses. They retiring to the West Indies. They're retiring, and they say, "Hey, thanks to you." So I got a lot of people that made a lot of wealth because of me.
That's what's up. That's what's up, brother Carl. Bless you for that. God bless you for
Hey,
helping people,
Aji,
man.
Tanya got a good question. Should you ever close a card? How does it affect your credit? Great question. I would tell people don't close a credit card because you need that mix for your credit score. The way the algorithms are is picking up credit cards. So if you got a good credit card that you're paying on, I would say don't close it, but pay it down if you can, and then don't use it. Put it up, and that's gonna do better than closing it out. Because if you close it out, it's gonna, you're gonna lose that trade line, and you want to have trade lines.
Mm. Good question, Sister Tanya. Brother Carl, I have a question. Also, when I was in school, man, in college, and young, dumb, didn't study, no credit. I didn't have no job, and they had get a free football if you sign up for the credit card. Me and one of my brothers on campus did it like fools, and I'm getting chicken wings and all types of foolishness with the credit card. Could you help educate the people on the types of things you should probably use a credit card for?
Yeah, well, right now, see, back when we got our cards, and we probably got our cards at the same time in Brewster Bowling in the what you call it, cafeteria, because I ran mine up. When I pledged, I put my pledge gear on my credit card and ran it up, and then I had bad credit card at college, but I fixed it real quick when I got my first job. But we didn't know nothing about credit. Our parents didn't really have it. We was a squeezed generation where our parents didn't have a lot of stuff. We was the first generation to have it, and then now we're teaching our kids how to do it, and they're not getting the opportunities that we had, and then they got social media telling them the wrong thing, so we're squeezed. So right now, what I'm telling people, you want to use your credit card, like I said, let's go back to that 30% rule. You don't want to use more than 30% of your credit card, because then the algorithm on the credit bureau is gonna give you a lower credit score for your utilization. You want to use your credit card, of course, to go on vacation. Because if you use a debit card, the holes is going to be in your debit cards. So you want to your plane fare, your hotel, your Uber, but pay it right back. So if you say, okay, I'm gonna go on vacation with the kids, I'm gonna spend $800, put in your credit card, but if you got $800 cash, pay it right back. The algorithm is gonna pick that up and it's gonna give you a good score. Then on top of that, if you say I don't want to use my credit card at all, and I got a lot of people that say, "Y'all don't like to use credit at all. I'm about to get rid of my credit cards." Nah, let's keep the credit cards. What you do is just put your Netflix subscription, your Amazon Prime subscription, $25. So you're going to use that. So they'll take it off to $25, and then you pay that $25 a month, and that's going to be good. So you're 25 in, 25 out, 25 in, 25 out, and then keep in mind that there's an annual fee that the credit card is going to put in. Make sure you pay that too, because a lot of people, when they don't use their credit cards, get hit with the annual fee, forget about it, and they 30 days behind for $10. So just make sure you also got your annual fee and everything like that. So I'd say use your credit cards just for small things like your Netflix subscriptions, or you go on vacation and then pay it right back and stuff like that. But try to digress from running it up, paying for stuff you can't afford to pay back, like your clothes, stuff like that. And you want to also have your credit cards for anything emergency, like your car breakdown. You have that available, stuff like that.
Sorry, what are your thoughts on these programs where they say when you pay your bills, this will help your credit? Are those legitimate?
Well, anytime, and you don't need a program for that, but anytime you pay your bills, it will help your credit. Of course, like paying your credit cards down. And also on Experian, they got Experian Boost, where if you put in your utility bills, they're gonna add that on, and help that boost your credit score. So only Experian does that right now. TransUnion, Equifax don't do it. But a lot of my clients that have not a lot of credit, they do Experian Boost. So a lot of you guys that got Experian, go on Experian Boost and add on your utility bills, because you're paying that anyway. You got to pay your utility bills. You're going to lose your light bill, you lose your cable bill, your Wi-Fi bill, and they will report that on time. And then there's also some reporting agencies like Rent Reporter, and I talk about it in this book. That's why it's good for you to come get that ebook. RentReporter.com will report that you're paying your rent. They'll just go to your landlord. Your landlord will report that you're paying your rent, and that also will boost your score.
Excellent, excellent. Now, we are at the time we're going to close the show. Those of you who are watching said, dag, he didn't answer my question, or dag, I had a question, but I didn't get to ask it, or dag, I had a question, but I forgot it. Don't fret, family. You know, assuming that God gives us more life and days to come, we hope to have our brother back on, and hopefully he'll consent to do like a 3-part series for us so we can get a little bit more in depth. In the meantime, Brother Carl has graciously said, follow him on Instagram, Carl Agard, _ the money expert. Tell him you saw the show, hit him up, and he'll give you a free ebook to help kind of guide you until we meet again. But Brother Carl, man, just want to thank you, good brother. You know, it's a blessing to have gone to, college isn't just about the classes and this and that. It's sometimes about the network of people. Definitely. The wonderful, talented, brilliant people you meet, and them 30, 40 years later, you can call them like, man, I need some help, and they have expertise. So I'm really appreciating that.
Let me just say this before we go. Even though we didn't go to a HBCU, we went to a PWI. We tight. We just as tight as the HBCUs, because being down here in Atlanta, I was exposed to a lot of HBCUs like people Morehouse, Spelman, Howard, Jackson State. I still believe we tighter because they got their little cliques. I'm just gonna drop that another jewel too. We all clicked up as one, whether we was the Black Greeks, SAS, the Caribbean Association, or no affiliation. Everybody tight to this day. We go to any city in America, all us orange, we together. So let me say that. So for you, my brother,
we had to.
I'll come on. We'll do that 3-part series. You can have your listeners give up the 5 to 10 questions for each one. We're gonna do one for credit, do one for real estate and mortgages. We do one for business and business loans. And everyone have 5 to 10 questions for each one, and I'll just break them down as it go on. Because I bet you by that time I'm gonna have more juice for you, because I'm actually still doing stuff. So I'm gonna have more stuff because it's changing every month. Changing with the election, it's changing with the government, changing with the times. So you gotta have it always relevant information coming in all the time.
That's what's up, man. Definitely. And I'm gonna be calling you in the future too to talk about some other stuff on the side. But man, we thank you, Brother Carl. Enjoy your evening, man. I see you on these red carpets, and you doing your thing, brother. You keep doing your thing, man. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Thanks, my brother. Keep doing it. And like I said, everybody, once again, before I go, follow me, IG, Carl Agard _ the money expert. DM me, send your free book. And then my other Instagram or my magazine, Boss XL the Mag on Instagram. And then a link to the online magazine is right there. And also, if you go on that too, you could join the magazine for free. So you can just view all the information. Just get on the magazine. Tips. Gotta get information. Adapt or die. Information is key. It's like your food. Gotta get it.
That's right. So with that said, family, you know what I say. No matter what anybody tells you, the negativity, the toxicity you see all around you, we can't do it because we black. We can't do it because we female. We can't do it because our parents didn't know. Listen, family, we can do whatever we choose to do if we organize, get the right information, and get with the right people. There's 3 words. We will win. And you just got to believe that and operate on that. Brother Carl, thank you, man. Family, peace. Y'all have a good evening. Until next time.